She was pounding on my front door like she owned the place. I had just come home from work when I heard her shouting, "Open this door right now. This house isn't yours." At first I ignored her, but then I saw her slide something under the door. It was a fake HOA violation notice with a red stamp claiming eviction pending. My chest tightened with anger, but I stayed quiet, watching through the peephole as she grabbed her phone. Within minutes a police cruiser pulled up. She stormed toward the officer like he worked for her and yelled, "Arrest this man. He broke into my property." The officer walked toward my porch, but before I could speak, my wife stepped out behind me. The officer froze mid-step, his jaw clenched, his hands stopped on his belt. He looked at her with wide eyes and stumbled over his words. "Commander Karen's smirk vanished. She blinked between the officer and my wife, suddenly realizing she had crossed a line she didn't understand. Her face lost all color as the officer straightened up like he was standing at attention. "Reporting for duty." My wife didn't raise her voice. She simply crossed her arms and said, "Explain why you're on my porch." "Officer," the cop looked embarrassed, almost uneasy, and muttered, "Ma'am, I was dispatched for a possible break-in." Karen jumped in, shouting, "Don't listen to him. He's trespassing. He doesn't belong here. I'm with the HOA, and this property follows our rules." She waved the fake notice like it was real authority. My wife stepped forward, locking eyes with the officer. "You know this is my home. Do you also know what happens to people who impersonate authority or file false reports?" The officer swallowed hard and looked away. Karen forced a laugh, trying to cover her panic. "You're bluffing. He doesn't even live here." That's when my wife calmly pulled a folder from the drawer inside. She opened it to reveal what Karen never expected: legal ownership papers with our names, highlighted and officially stamped by the county clerk. Karen's voice cracked. "Those could be fake." My wife gave a cold, steady smile. "Want me to show him the security footage too? The one where you tried to break into my home earlier today?" Karen fell silent. The officer glanced between us, realizing he had walked into something far more serious than a simple HOA complaint. The porch went quiet. Karen shifted her stance, pretending confidence, but sweat slid down her forehead. "You can't prove anything," she snapped, her voice shaking. That's when I took out my phone and played the footage. The screen showed her trying the back door handle, peeking through windows, and even pulling gloves from her pocket like she was preparing to force entry. The officer's eyes widened. "Ma'am, this is attempted burglary." Karen let out a shaky laugh. No, I was just checking if the property was secure. I was trying to help." My wife stepped closer, her tone sharp. "You called the police on my husband, lied about who owns this home, and now you've been caught trying to break in. Do you know how many charges that adds up to?" The officer looked trapped between embarrassment and responsibility. Karen pointed at him desperately. "Well, arrest him. Arrest them. I'm HOA authority." But the officer didn't come toward me. Instead, he slowly reached for his radio. "Dispatch, I need backup at this location. Possible false report and attempted break-in." Karen's mouth fell open. "Backup? For me?" My wife leaned just close enough for her to hear. "You should have thought twice before dragging law enforcement into my home, especially when the law answers to me." Karen stumbled back, her pretend authority crumbling. Her scream carried down the street as she realized the officer wasn't protecting her. Neighbors stepped out onto their porches, whispering as everything unraveled. She tried one last time, pointing at me like an accusation could fix her mistakes. "This is harassment. You people don't belong here. Leave this neighborhood." The officer turned on her, his voice firm. "Ma'am, you don't give orders here. You lied to law enforcement, and that's a serious offense." Her jaw dropped. "Lied? I'm protecting the HOA." My wife stepped forward, her tone like steel. "There is no HOA authority over this property. I made sure of that when we bought this land outright. You're trespassing on private property." Karen shook with anger. She yanked the fake notice from her purse and waved it again. "This paper proves it. You have to leave." I couldn't help but smirk as the officer took the notice, glanced at it for barely 5 seconds, and tore it in half. "This isn't official. This is fraud." Karen gasped like she had been struck. "You can't destroy HOA property." The officer cut her off sharply. "Ma'am, this is fraud. Do you want me to list the charges I can file against you?" Karen froze, staring between the officer, the watching neighbors, and my wife, who hadn't raised her voice once. For the first time, her fake authority didn't work, and she knew it. This is part 1. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and watch part 2. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing HOA Karen stories.